Yes guys, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be going over how to build muscle and lose body fat at the same time. So the golden question that everybody has. But first of all, why should you listen to me? My name is Max Rogers. I own a coaching company where I've helped nearly 500 people do exactly this. So let's get into it. So I just want to go over quickly. I got a DM from somebody. Remember guys, if you want me to ask your questions, just leave me a message below or DM me on my Instagram, okay? Hey Max, I love your physique, thank you. I want to build as much muscle as possible, but I'm really worried about getting fat. I've been fat in the past and I've also been very lean in the past. How can I do them both at the same time, and is it even possible? I've always been told that you should do either one or the other. Blah, 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 it goes on for ages. So I'm gonna break this down, guys, in the best way I know how. We all wanna build muscle and lose body fat. Everyone wants to be big and lean at the same time, okay? But you have to be realistic about where you're at and if it's the right path for you. The first one is if you're a beginner. Now, if you haven't been to the gym, you haven't really trained much in the past, and you're going into the gym, you're gonna make progress very, very quickly and your body will respond very well. You will hyper respond during the start of your training career, okay? And by hyper respond, I mean you'll build muscle, but you'll also lose body fat at the same time. And this will go on for a little bit of time until it kind of stops, okay? Super effective. This is why 12-week transformations work so well online with people that are untrained. This is why you see people, oh my God, he's got so big and so lean at the same time. Proof is out there, it works, okay? The second thing is if you're massively overweight, you can also build muscle and lose fat at the same time for a couple of reasons. First of all, you have a lot of stored energy on your body, okay? And you can be in a fairly aggressive calorie deficit provided the training stimulus is there and the protein intake is there, and you will build muscle as you lose fat over time. It doesn't really work. If you're a very, very skinny guy and you're trying to build muscle and lose fat at the same time and you're not eating enough calories and you've already got a revved up metabolism, you'll find that you'll probably just stay the same, okay? The third way it works is if you have been in shape in the past, or if you've coming off a long injury, for example. Let's say, you know, when you were younger, you used to train all the time, play rugby, you're in great shape, and then you became a dad, stopped training, you get into your 40s, and then you get back into it. You're somebody but that will hyper respond because you can build muscle because you've had it before. Then the last way is obviously if you're enhanced. Now this is, I don't want to go into it too much, but this is obviously very, very powerful. For 99% of people, this is not the route I would go down, and you can still build muscle and lose fat at the same time. So if you're just an average guy, got a little bit of body fat, you know, bit of a stomach, but you know, quite skinny arms or the old skinny fat, and you want to do both at the same time, my recommendation is you can go into a recomp phase. Now I want to kind of tread carefully here, okay? A recomp phase does work and you can build muscle and lose fat at the same time, but you have to understand you're going to be losing a little bit of body fat when you could lose a lot of body fat in a dedicated dieting phase, and maybe building a tiny bit of muscle when you could build a lot more muscle in a dedicated gaining phase. And these recomp phases, guys, you have to be dialed in, and your genetics play a role, your training history plays a role. How hard do you train? Are you recovering? Are you drinking on weekends? Are your nutrition on point? You know, there's so much more that comes into play than just, oh, you'll just do a recomp and just grow and get lean at the same time. But if you were gonna do a recomp, and you were happy to kind of take the longer route to get into shape, this is the way I would do it. I would find your maintenance calories, okay? From here, I either eat at maintenance calories or just below. But in my opinion, you should be eating around maintenance calories. So if your maintenance calories are 2,500, I would eat around 2,500. I would make sure that your protein is high at 1 gram per pound of body weight, and your carbs and fats, you can do whatever you want. That is the first thing, okay? But then you have to make sure your training is dialed in. I've spoken about 3-day plans, 4-day plans, 5-day plans. You've got full body, you've got upper, lower, you've got push, pull, legs, repeat. There's so many different training plans out there. They all work. But make sure you're on a training plan that you enjoy, that you're consistent with, and that you can progress over time and improve over time. Meaning you get stronger, you recover fine, you don't get injured. If you can do that, eat at maintenance calories, find a good training plan that you can run for, you know, 6 months whilst really enjoying, really milking it and making as much progress as you can. Sprinkling a little bit of cardio around your week, so maybe 60 minutes a week, then you'll find that over time you will build a little bit of muscle and lose a little bit of body fat. But again, if you're going out on weekends, if you're missing days, if you have holidays coming up and you're kind of doing a little bit but not doing it all, I'm telling you, you'll just kind of stay the same. You go a bit here, coming from somebody that's done it all, I would always choose one or the other, and I would commit to a certain phase. I would commit to a fat loss phase, and I would commit to a bulking phase. And let me explain why. If you have decent amount of fat on you, basically, if you look in the mirror, if you look at my stomach, I'm sorry to do this, I have abs. Okay, for me, if I wanted to go into a gaining phase, I would say I am in a position to do so. If you look in the mirror and you've got a gut, whether you're male or female, you've got fat thighs, you're unhappy with your arms, your belly's big, you should be going into a dedicated fat loss phase, okay? In this fat loss phase, you're gonna make progress quickly, you're gonna lose a lot of body fat, and you're still going to build muscle at a slow rate, or at least maintain muscle. Because it doesn't matter if you're in a fat loss phase or a gaining phase, your training is the same, right? You're still pushing hard, you're still pushing to failure, you're still lifting weights multiple times a week, you're still doing cardio, whether you're dieting or gaining. Everything stays the same, it's just the overall number of calories. In a dedicated fat loss phase, if you've got that guy who's not looking great, okay, and he does that for 8, 12, 16 weeks, he is going to look like he's built a load of muscle because he's lost a load of fat. And if he's smart with his training, he would have held on to all of his muscle, or maybe built some muscle along the way. That person, 12 weeks down the line, who's now very lean, first of all, is very happy with the look, and he is then in a position to go into a lean gaining phase, where you can then focus on building muscle or trying to maintain body composition, okay? So only once you've done this so many times, where you've built muscle, lost fat, and you kind of got to my level, where I'm kind of happy. Like, I don't really want to be any bigger, but I kind of want to stay lean. Now I'm in like a recomp phase or a maintenance phase, where I just kind of sit in the middle. I'm happy to be here. But my biggest advice to you guys would be commit to one. If you are 6'2" and 70 kilos and look like a rake, commit to a gaining phase. Commit to putting on muscle. Spend time in a fat loss phase until you're lean. Once you're there, spend time in a gaining phase to put on as much muscle as possible until you're not lean anymore, and then push back into a dieting phase, push back up. Dieting phase, push back up. But it's important that your dieting phases are, not as long as your gaining phases. Maybe 8 to 12 weeks in a fat loss phase, get it off nice and quick, and then your gaining phases are 3, 6, 9 months long. Rinse, repeat, until you get to a point that you're happy with. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, if you've got any questions, feel free to drop them below or DM me on Instagram, and I'll keep pumping videos out like this. Thank you.